we have scores of questions for refs about the way the game works. So if you're happy, we'll run through a few of them. To start with Sam O'Reilly, he says, why isn't the offside at the kickoff strictly enforced? And it's often these ones, the not straight feeds and the kickoff enforced. Yeah, I notice players running ahead of the kicker, but referees don't tend to ping players for it. When do you ping players for it?
So we actually did talk about this at our camp pre-Super Rugby, and as I mentioned before, around sort of housekeeping, and it's one of those things that as referees we're not very good at managing, so we are intending this year to be a bit more proactive in how we do it. We don't want to be blowing for a player in front. It's actually something that's quite easy to get on top of. So we can do that from the very start of the game. So expect to hear more referees just being a bit more proactive about, guys, stay behind him, time your run. And then if we think they're getting tight, we'll deliver a message directly to that player or to the 10s, just to say, hey man, that last one, he was real tight. And then again, we're embedded with our teams. So, we're watching our own team and giving them feedback. And I've spoken to a number of Blues players who don't always get it right. And I'm like, come on man, you need to just time your run. Who are you queuing off? What are you queuing off? Is it off the ref? Is it off the kicker? So the ultimate outcome is that we can manage it and not have to sanction it, but be prepared that if a player is just taking the mickey and is a metre or so ahead, then chances are there could be a scrum or a...
I can assure you, as a player, they were called DAPs, dumbass penalties, and you do not want to be on the DAPs list, I can tell you. So I don't think anyone ever intentionally would want to give a penalty away like that. It's obviously mistiming, but that's sort of, you won't play the next week. Honestly, coaches will not accept silly penalties like that. That is just a gift to the opposition for absolutely no gain. A metre. Come on.
As a ref, I can't understand why players. It's not that hard to stand behind the line.
And then the best ones are when they get pinged and the kick's gone all the way into the 22. It's you were never getting there. DAP.
And they blow up going, what?
The old DAP.
What's your worst DAP?
I had some shockers, mate. I remember against the Lions at Eden Park out here, and I did that the halfback went to pass it, and I just knocked it out and it was 5 minutes into the game. And I was like, what have you done? And I just remember Tom Coventry was just DAP. I know. It was awful.
And you were thinking,
I wanted to sub myself. I was like, that is just ridiculous. I had some shockers, especially when I was, Bryn would know, when I get a little bit of red mist, a little bit of steam coming out of the head, the old decision-making process wasn't the cleanest, wasn't the smartest.
What's yours, Brenna?
I think I actually did one in a scrum. I think we actually played the Chiefs in Fiji, and it was just before half-time. We were just, we were obviously not having momentum and put the ball into the scrum, and then just kind of saw the ball kind of pop out and just used my hand to put it in between the flanker's foot, and I can't remember who the ref was, but he's like, nah, man, that's a penalty, and that's a free kick. And then we went to half-time. Read the comment section, and they're just saying, what an idiot. Get him off. Who's that idiot? Get him off. He doesn't know the rules. He's in the halfback. So, that was one that was definitely a depth for me. No good from Razor, that one, that's for sure.
That leads us to another one of these questions that we get all the time. Feeding of the scrum. What is the story with halfbacks being able to feed it on a 45 degree?
Maybe the halfbacks are the one to ask.
Hey mate, we will try and cheat as much as we can in anything when it comes to halfbacks. So I'll be more interested to see what you deemed as straight.
Funny enough,
the vision's a little bit different.
It's interesting that and these are genuine questions from the listeners and the audience, and this conversation we had at camp as well. So it was sort of like an alignment cap. We haven't actually had one with the Aussie guys in the lead up to a season for a while. So it was great to be able to sort of everyone to connect for a couple of days and be able to discuss some of these things. So there's different approaches. If you look in the French competition, top 14, they're going quite hard in a punitive sense. So they're pretty much free kicking anything that doesn't look straight. We have discussed it. So what we're after is halfbacks setting up so that they're more square to the tunnel. They don't have to be in the centre. Their outside shoulder needs to be in line with the middle shoulder. we had Mike Cron, the Scrum guru, come and present to us as well, and he talked about, like, it's actually impossible, and you can probably attest to this, Jip. If you do feed the ball directly down the line, the hooker can't actually reach the ball.
Well, most nimble bloke.
So we want to see a hook. We want to see the halfback being square, and then it's a management tool that we have. Like, we preview games, so before a game we'll watch, see what some of their behaviours are, and that's one of those things that we can look at and go, okay, do we think this 9 is a bit dicey on the feed? Well, we can have a chat to them either during the week, communicate that to the team, or have a chat to them in the sheds beforehand when we meet with them. Or if we deem they're getting a bit tight during the game, we can then manage it. And ideally, we don't want to be going down the punitive line too much. We shouldn't have to.
Because you don't have to be in the centre. No, because you don't want to have to be in the centre. Like, you just creep down towards your loose head, put it under there, and then because you actually want the hook, like, you want that speed of channeling.
Yeah.
Because if the halfback's he can't get back to do his job. So, like, you actually do need the hook. But I agree with Chrono. Like, it used to give you as a hooker anxiety if there was a ref, like, going, right, you have to be right in the middle. It's like, well, I'm going to snap my neck trying to hook that, you know. So. I think most combos, 9-2 combos, want a hook because of the speed of that channeling to get, like a Hoskins Tutu, be able to just scoop it up and go off the back. So I just think it's just understanding. Like, people argue that it's not straight because they're not in the centre, but I think that's a key point to remember, is like, you don't have to. The halfback doesn't have to be in the centre.
What kind of Jip's touched on, you can be a little bit more right hand side to where you put in underneath your hooker's feet and going square. I don't know if you've kind of been seeing, but would you officiate a little bit differently? Because at the moment, if you watch the Italian game on the weekend, their halfbacks are actually spinning the ball like a little bit of a spiral. So does that would that change your, I guess, perception of what you're seeing as it's deemed in straight? If it's a little spiral that's been going towards left to right, this is very technical. This is why we're on the show here, but it is a little bit of a different way of putting the ball in. So it might be a bit harder to see if it's going in square. Potentially,
but like, a trigger for us is we need to see that hook. So if the ball's spinning, if they're using a technique that is like a leg break or whatever, and it's spinning back, and then the hooker's actually not even trying to hook it, then it will raise a red flag. Like, I think technically as well in the law book, it talks about the ball needing to touch part of that centre line. So there's no specific way that a halfback has to feed the ball as such, as long as it's with two hands. Otherwise, you know, like, it's like anything. Like, players always try and bend the rules and try things on, even when there are changes. And sometimes referees and the game's slow to react. Sometimes it's, hey, full credit to you. So, you know, keep trying until someone says no.
Classic game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'll tell you what, you must have a battling old hooker if you're starting to spin the ball to put it in, though. It's very risky.
Yeah. The most important thing, Bruno, is that you don't try to find a wet ball.
If you go watch that Italian game, I was like, and if you look at the quick hook, like the channel 1, I was like, oh, they're onto something there. So yeah, just a thought that kind of crossed my mind while watching the Italian game.
In the top league this weekend, will we?
I definitely won't be. We've got Malcolm Marks, so you can put the ball pretty much in front of him and you can walk over it. So I think we're right on that space with Malcolm there. So that will be okay.
Right, we've got another question through from Kerry Geertsen, who's one of our regular emailers, and Kerry's talking about the line-out. He understands that if the ball goes into the line-out from the hooker, only at that point can players exit a line-out. But there seem to be players coming and going constantly in the build-up to the ball being thrown, you know, and who knows if they're the halfback or they're in the line-out or what they're doing. What are the rules around that, and how clear can it be for you guys as to who's doing what?
Where do we start?
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot going on at the line-out. Like, people talk about a lot going on at scrum time. I reckon the line-out is one of the most challenging parts of the game to referee, especially when you get from like the line out to then line out to maul, because there's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving bodies. But players under law are allowed to swap their positions before the ball leaves the hooker's hand. They can swap either within the line out, or they can swap with someone if there's a receiver, but they have to do that before the ball leaves the hand of the hooker. You would have seen last year in Super Rugby, we cracked down on the insert, so a player coming in to act as a lifter, but no one jumping out. So the same will apply this year. Like, we We actually tried it with teams in training to see if it was even possible, and it's unless you're throwing to the back, it's almost impossible to do a legal swap before the ball gets to the back jumper. But when teams are setting up for a line-out maul, you will see players move into that receiver position, and players are allowed to, once the ball has left the hooker's hand, to go anywhere from the line of touch back to the 10 metre where the backs would traditionally be, as long as they keep moving. So you might think that that players are sort of lining up, 3 ready to hit the line out drive. They're still kind of moving. And so we almost give them the benefit of the doubt that no one's standing still, so therefore they're not actually doing anything illegal.
What was impossible?
So you'd see teams, they'd set up like a 5-man line out, have a player in the receiver position.
He'd lift at the back.
And he would come in and act as a lifter.
Yeah.
Because you're meant to be 2 metres back from the line out, right? Yeah. If you're in the receiver position. So to be able to go from that position to insert and lift before when the ball is left to hand, like if it was at the front, was almost impossible. So the only way to really do it was if you threw to the back. And even then it was touch and go. So,
I didn't hear that. I was like, I'd like to put that theory to the test. I'd like to get my throw back on and really just give it a nice little high lob. I'll tell you what, Brendan O'Connor, he was razor sharp in that insert role back in the day.
Oh, it was one of those things that no one ever sort of talked about, and then every now and then, like, we don't help ourselves as referees. We decide to create issues for ourselves, and that was one of those ones that we just decided to create an issue for ourselves.
I think the players do a good job of creating issues for you.
We sure do.
Yep.
The next one is from Kevin Futter, and Kevin said, players seem to be able to get into a position which I would call offside and take players out around rucks without being penalised. So what's a legal clear out, and when is a player being taken out off the ball from an offside position? Like, what are the rules around that area?
Nothing is ever black and white in rugby, but
not at the breakdown.
Certainly, especially not at the breakdown. But what we do have triggers and things that we look at. So if you're a ball carrier and you have a support player who's attached to you, whether fully bound or sort of partially bound, then a defender can target you. You're fair game. Yep. You're essentially considered a ball carrier. If we get to a position where a tackle's made and then a player's coming to clean, if you're within that sort of vicinity, so within sort of a metre of the breakdown, then you're entitled to be cleaned. Where you can potentially get yourself in a little bit of trouble is if you clean out past the breakdown. And so I'm talking 1, 2, 3 metres past, where initially you've been cleaned and then the defender or the support player has just kept cleaning. And then what we talk about is distance from the breakdown, but then also if you get taken to ground. So it doesn't mean you're going to automatically be penalised, but you're liable to be penalised. And where I guess the danger increases a little bit more is if then a ball carrier then runs through the gap that's been created because of the actions of the player who was cleaned and taken to ground, and thus creating that space for them to run through.
That would be a DAP.
That would be a DAP.
That would be a DAP. That would be a naughty list.
Halfbacks are jumping for their lives sometimes around those things, Brenna.
Especially that one on screen.
Mate,
he's the matador.
Mate, Brodie Retallick, mate, he got me an absolute couple of beauties during my career in New Zealand. So whenever I kind of played the Chiefs, it was just on high alert. There were Retallicks coming in to clean your ribs or any point of time. So. Yep, the old matador was a good way to.
He was the best at really utilising that metre.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was a metre.
It was about 2 or 3 metres. He was that good at it. He would just take you off the ground. So
as a ref, they're actually really hard to see. Like, we rely a little bit on our assistant referees in that space, especially if it's really clear. And sometimes again, you can preview this stuff with and knowing which teams do these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And if you get on top of them early, they might not do it again. Other teams just don't do it at all. So it's just one of those things you need to be aware of.
The Chiefs, love one.
I won't name names.
Not as much as I used to. So now Brodie's left. It's a lot less common.
Is he doing it in Japan too? Are the Japanese players?
There's no doubt he'll be doing it.
Ducking for cover.
Mate,
they play Kobe?
I'm sorry, Gus. Well, I love that obviously we're talking with the referees, but they miss a lot of things over here in Japan, so he can get away with it going 4 or 5 metres if he wants to. So and among a lot of things. So he actually scored 4 tries a couple of weeks ago, Ross. So I know there's not an All Black. You can't be selected over in the All Blacks, but he's in career best form at the moment. So yeah.
Does that mean you get away with everything as well?
Well, I can't get away with it, mate, because I can't speak Japanese, so they don't listen to me.
It's probably a good thing.
They don't speak Japanese. Oh, sorry, no English. I'm like, oh, fair enough, mate. I do have a look at the old the paper at the start of the week and saying if they do speak English. There's a big circle in our kind of admin of kind of what who's riffing us, and so when you see a triangle, there's no English, so there's a lot of triangles. So no good for me in trying to get my laws or my points across in the game, that's for sure.
Wouldn't listen anyway.
Awesome. Hey, Gus, thanks so much for joining us, mate. I really appreciate it. Now, you're doing a bit of work with Epilepsy New Zealand as well?
Yeah, like it's just something that cropped up over the last couple of months. So I was diagnosed with epilepsy 4 or 5 years ago. I'm one of the lucky ones that I can control it. It's controlled through medication. But there's sort of 30% that aren't that fortunate to be in that position. It's our 70th year this year, which is really, really exciting. So just trying to help raise awareness and kind of remove some of that stigma that's kind of unfortunately attached to epilepsy, and that you can kind of still live a relatively normal life and do a job that is physically and mentally demanding. So yeah, I'm excited to be on board with Epilepsy New Zealand, and looking forward to sort of helping them out over the next 12 months or so.
What did it look like for you? And what did you have to overcome?
It came out of the blue, so there was no history or anything like that. I've had 2 seizures in my life, and they were within the space of 8 months. The first one was at the gym on a spin bike, and sort of came to and had no idea what had happened. And the second was at home in bed in the morning, and quite scary. Probably not so much for me, because I didn't know what had happened, but certainly the people around me, like my wife, my friends that were at the gym at the same time, like seeing how it impacted them, and because we didn't know what to do. And that's where Epilepsy New Zealand was really, really helpful in terms of just like that education piece and trying to get better understanding around like what do you do if someone has a seizure. And the natural thought is to call an ambulance, but actually in most situations they'll come to and be okay. It's more a case of making sure they don't hurt themselves on anything. So that and then just through a series of tests and getting a medication that worked for me, I've been fortunate enough to be able to sort of continue on. And I guess the most inconvenient thing at the time is you can't drive for 12 months. So that was a bit niggly. Yeah, but it's one of those things that I live with. I take a pill a couple of times a day and just try not let it hold me back, I guess. But hopefully we can give Epilepsy New Zealand a little bit of a boost, and especially that it's the 70th year this year, which is exciting.
Well, good on you, mate. Thank you very much to Gus for coming on the show.
It's been great. I love the new setup.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Good.
At the Mecca.
Yeah.
At Eden Park.
Eden Park.
Yeah.
Do we get to sign the piano?
Oh, mate. Well, Billy Joel signed it, so you should be on there next to it.
Jipper might.
Yeah.
No. I think I'll leave it to Billy.
You can't see it in the background because this room is where the bands and stuff come before they go on stage at Eden Park when they do a big concert. So you've had Coldplay and Metallica and Billy Joel and all sorts of people come through.
And now us.
This area.
Yeah,
here.
it's the rock stars.
And then Aotearoa Rugby Pod. But there's a piano back there, and it's got the signatures of all these people on it, including New Zealand Band 660. So there's a few that's been through here. So we're in rarefied air.
Where we belong, mate.
But thank you, mate. Appreciate you coming on, and good luck for this weekend.
No, awesome. Thank you.